Doing answers by guess. Tuesday show, halftime adjustments. Let me get stuff figured out over here. Let's get that up. Here we are, the inside scoop from outside the box. This is week 7.5, halfway in between week 7 and 8. Probably going to be a relatively quick show tonight. Rob couldn't join, Marty couldn't join. I got a power play up and ready to go. Title of the show, I think, is 2 in a row. I'm a poet and I know it. I keep on saying it. It's 2 normal weeks in a row. So I was wrong. I thought I had a feeling. I think I maybe just, had to have nature call because I had a feeling in my stomach it was going to be a weird week, I was saying on Saturday, and that was not the case. I feel like it was a relatively normal week. No major upsets. The Giants almost pulled one, but that didn't come to fruition, as we all know. So let's get this rolling. Tuesday shows are relatively pretty quick, mostly just a recap, and that starts with the Guest Gazette, brought to you by Marty. Week 7 rundown, there it is. Well, not too much, nothing too crazy. A couple injuries. We'll talk about things. Just endure the suffering. The Jets, it's going to happen. Justin Fields is done. If you were like me and thought you were getting a nice lottery ticket late in the draft, I don't understand. It's been 7 weeks. He was out at least one, I think, maybe 2. But he had 2 or 3 30-plus point fantasy games. And then he has like 3 where he's like 5 fantasy points. It just makes no sense. The Jets are lost. I was hoping Rob could join me so he could see this here as a nice surprise for him. He knows all about enduring that suffering. It's just, it makes no sense what this team is doing. All you have to do is look at Aaron Rodgers last year and then what Aaron Rodgers is doing in Pittsburgh. He could have done that in New York. The coaching staff, it's both the New Jersey teams, really, because the Giants blew that game. But at least they're do some things right. And it seems like the Jets just don't. Oronde Gadsden. I said it on the live show Saturday night. I don't remember who was asked the question. We had a ton of YouTube viewers. So that was really awesome. Tons of questions were coming in. And somebody had a tight end question, and they threw out Tyler Higbee as a choice. I was like, dude, go get Oronde Gadsden. I said it a week ago on the Tuesday show. He was a 5 guy for your eye. I said, get him. I said, because this time next week, and I was talking Saturday, and actually it's today now, it's going to be too late because everybody's going to go and pick him up after that game. He got knocked down a few times in that game, but so far so good, unscathed, not on the injury report. He's their starting tight end, and they need him. We'll talk about it when we get to the Thursday game, but he definitely showed out, and it was good to see because I had a feeling watching him the past couple of weeks. I was like, this guy is about ready to pop, and pop he did. However, close but no cigar, and that goes to if you watch the Saturday show. I had another feeling. Again, I think I just had to poop because I thought it was going to be a crazy week like we had gotten the first 3 weeks of the season. I think that we're 2 in a row now of normal weeks. I think maybe we're just going to get some normalcy going through. But I also had a feeling that Tennessee was going to beat the Patriots. And for a while, it looked like they might have a chance of doing that. And then no cigar. The wheels just came off. Tennessee looked like Tennessee. And maybe that and the crazy week went hand in hand with the feeling. But I was wrong about that. And I'll say that flat out. Patriots looking good. Again, like I talked about, no surprises really to talk about. I see some comments on the side. What's up, Josue? What's up, Jeremy? We'll get to those in just a minute. There's your week 8 buys. The biggest bye week of the season with 6 teams. Some decent players. Travis Hunter was nice to see finally break through. Well, not finally, but really solidify it. I'm telling you, man, that the BTJ, Mac Jones made him look like a star. All the weeks that Trevor was there last year, he wasn't doing much. And that's about, I mean, what we're getting a little bit here, there, a little bit here and there, but that's not what you paid for where you drafted them. The Raiders, I thought they were getting Bowers back last week on Saturday night. Turned out they were giving them another week so they could rest through the bye for 2. So you're not really missing much there. Genty, I guess. The Lions, that's a ton. McBride for the Cardinals, at least. The Seahawks. Zach Charbonnet in that Kareem Hunt goal line role is just a beautiful thing. They use him at the goal line just like the Patriots use Kareem Hunt. Last time he got 2 touchdowns in the Rams. And Jeremy, I'm glad you're here. I knew you would be. I put this there for you. You were worried about Saquon. I'm still not terribly worried. And it kind of goes hand in hand with what we'll be talking about when we get to the Thursday night game. But, you know, the Vikings are still a good rush defense. And I said going into the game, I said on Saturday night, I said, A.J. Brown's going to go off. Devontae Smith's going to go off. Justin Jefferson's going to go off. Jordan Addison's going to go off. All 4 of them had really, really good games, some of them better than others, but it was an air show. I think Mason did score a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, but I was like, the running backs are kind of, you know, this is going to be a game for the receivers, and that it was. And it took a while for the Vikings to get going, but they did put up some points with those 2 guys. So if you played them, you were rewarded. But as far as Saquon goes, I mean, you look at the 2 surprises from last year at running back, it was Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, right? And both of them having a relatively tough time this year. Derrick Henry is older. I wouldn't say more beaten up, but his quarterback certainly is. And that's what's causing his dismay in Baltimore. So thought Lamar was going to be back this week, but now they're saying maybe not until week 9. So that keeps the Chicago Bears defense involved, even on the road. They are better at home. But keep an eye on that if you're looking for a defense this week with all those teams on bye. But Saquon, it was tough going against the Vikings. Haven't looked, if you watch the show any of these past 9 years, you know, I don't really pay attention to the following week on a Tuesday night, but they're going against the Giants and they're at home, and Saquon is a little bit of a giant killer. So I think you keep him in your lineups. And this one saddens me. I said it. If you were watching my preseason show when I talked about my draft, and I highlighted and spoke about me drafting Mike Evans, and I was like, it's usually not something I would do. I had no real interest in getting him. I worry about the age. I worry about him getting injured. And I was like, you know what? Let me get a guy in there who's a little older, solidify. He'll always be there. Give me something reliable. He's been anything but. So shame on me for trying to zig when I normally zag. I got to stick with my gut in drafts, but it's not going to kill me. But it's very sad to see him being out 3 weeks, and then he comes back and he has 3 injuries on one play. Likely done for the year. He's a safe drop. Even if he comes back, it'll be in the playoffs, I think, week 18. And if they're in the playoffs still, they'll definitely wait until they play a playoff game. So I think he's done for pretty much this season in fantasy. So you might as well drop him, especially if you're looking to pick somebody up because of those bye weeks. And we talked about it before, buy low, sell high. And, you know, Rico still was better than Chuba, and Rico looked pretty good. But Kamani Vidal would have been a nice sell high. Cam Skataboo. Sorry, I almost said Scatabo. You know how it's spelled. He really didn't look too great on the ground. I know he scored his receiving touchdown, but it was a tough matchup going against Denver, so it was kind of right there, but he snuck in a receiving touchdown. But still, just remember, as the week goes, even if things are normal like this week was, if you're looking to make a trade, please, this should be common sense. Do not sell guys low. Like right now, you can't sell Saquon. And you really can't sell Derrick Henry. If you want to get rid of Saquon, let's wait until this week. He's a giant killer. Let's wait until this week. I mean, he's playing against his old team. He usually gets pumped up for that one. We know what he did against them last year. So after this week, if you want to sell Saquon, I still would hold on to him. But Jeremy, I'm kind of talking directly to you, but not really. I'm speaking to everybody. If you've had enough of Saquon, after this week, if he does what I think he'll do on a Tuesday, let's see how I feel Saturday, because I believe we have London games again. Let me just double check that as well. No London games. Nice. So we'll be doing a Sunday show, Sunday morning. So we'll see how I feel Sunday morning, but I think Saquon's going to do great at home against his old team. And if you want to get rid of him, wait until then. First question is, what do you think of this trade? He's Diablo Blanco. You can't really see it. Again, it's tough with these pictures. I could make it bigger, but I want to keep everything in there and looking pretty. I think I said I kind of liked it. He'd be getting McConkey, Kelsey, and Dobbs. He'd be giving away Pacheco. I can't tell who that is. And T. Higgins. I don't know. Oh, Kincaid. I think it's a fair trade. If you like it, relatively close. Kincaid's had a bye last week, has been banged up with injuries. Pacheco's slowly looking better, but he's not the goal line guy. So I think you're doing okay. You're losing a running back. You're gaining enough at wide receiver for losing Higgins. I think it's okay, William. Darren, waiver wire pickup, Pacheco or Woody Marks. So speak of the devil. And for this, I'm, my old self, I'd go with my heart and I'd say Woody Marks, but their offensive line is terrible. Their play calling is atrocious. If you watched the game last night, it's just terrible. You have not been able to run all game up the middle. 4th and 1, you need this play. You're down a score. You're trying to make a move. What do we call? Or 3rd and 1, what do we call? A run right up the middle with Woody Marks. Like, get a little more creative. Your offensive line is terrible. It's not going to work against Seattle on the road. It's not going to work against most teams. Maybe it would work against the Dolphins. It's just terrible. And because of that, as much as I like Woody Marks more, I think Pacheco has to be the guy. And the Brashard Smith, I have been pumping his name since long ago, before anybody knew who he was. People are going to be picking him up after this week if they didn't, because they're stat watchers. They're going to see the stats. But that game was out of hand. That's why he got so many touches. Now, on the flip side, the coaches are saying, let's give him more touches. If he could be successful, maybe we can give him more during the game when the game is still in the balance, So that could happen, and that could take away things from Pacheco. But the Texans just have no line, so I can't go with them, and the Chiefs are rolling. Here's your Week 8 lookers, 5 guys for your eyes, and it's getting thin, especially when we have 2 weeks in a row where it's a lot of normalcy. So this list is not my favorite 5 guys for the year, except for number 1. So let's go. Oh, before I go, the layup would have been Tez Johnson. But anybody that watched the game last night, which is pretty much everybody, knows that Tez Johnson looked great. Now, he made a few bonehead rookie plays, running into Mike Evans on one play, running a wrong route. I wouldn't say drop a ball. But Baker was off last night. The Bucs could have won that game very easily if Baker connected on 3 out of his 8 sailed high passes. If he would have hit on those 3 at different points of the game, I think that they had a chance. I mean, you're watching that game, and it seems like the Lions won by 40. It seemed like they were completely in control. Baker was doing everything right except for putting the passes on target. He was just a little high, or a lot of high on a lot of things. But Tez Johnson would have been on the list, but I was like, you know what? Everybody saw him last night. He's jukey. He's quick. He's fit. He's the perfect in that Chris Godwin role. Chris Godwin will eventually be back, but he looks like a zombie walking around out there. So here we go. Jalen Noel. You watched the game last night. I've talked about him all year. I think we had Jaden Higgins on here at one point. But Jalen Noel, I liked what I saw of him last night. He was tough. more involved than I've seen him at all this year. And the Texans needed number 2, but he's only at number 5. They had their bye week, so that could have bumped him up, but he's only at number 5 because their offensive line, their play calling is just terrible. Number 4, I think somebody just asked a question about him. I think they were calling him Manangai. This is a layup. But the bottom line there, which you could read, Roschon is dead and likely gone. I think they're going to trade Roschon Johnson. I think they really like what they see out of Manangai. He's the power to Swift's speed, which is what Roschon could have been. But Roschon had a really tough time getting healthy early on, and the new coaching staff really likes Manangai as that David Montgomery and keeping Swift as that Jahmyr Gibbs, which he's been his entire career. So I think Roschon's going to probably end up getting moved. I wouldn't be surprised if DJ Moore also gets moved. And what would be really cool is if they sent both of them together to somebody and got something really, really nice and really boost the Bears ahead. But a little bit of a layup, especially with a week with 6 teams on the bye, and he had a really solid game last week, and people now know his name. But again, it's getting tough with these 5 guys for your eyes because I don't want to just give you junk names just to give you junk names. Speaking of junk names, Casey Washington. He's a Falcons wide receiver, and he's just an in-case fella. Because Mooney's always hurt, it seems. London, I wish nothing bad on him, but he's had times throughout his relatively brief career where he's in and he's out, he's in, he's out. And even if he's not, they could use that number 2 because it's not going to be McLeod or any of the other guys. I like what I saw out of Casey Washington, watching him these past couple of weeks. I was sort of looking at him. He's a little bit older. I think he started with the Browns. I want to say he's probably like 27 or 28 years old. So he's been in the league about 4 years, bounced around. But I think he could start to get a little more burn. He's not somebody that you really want to pick up and use, especially. But if Mooney gets hurt again, gets knocked out, and his playing time continues to rise, even if it's just a few snaps a week, Penix is looking for him when he's on the field. It's brief when he's on the field, but he's looking for him. Number 2, the Giants tight ends. Put them both in there. You know I love Theo Johnson. A couple of years ago, Bellinger was one of Rob Onis's when he was a rookie, and then he got hurt as he was starting to come on. They both had huge weeks this past week, and they've continued to both look really good in all of Dart's starts. So the Giants tight ends, especially this week, when you're looking at you might need a tight end, maybe you missed out on Gadsden with Trey McBride going on by, or some of these other guys. Bauer's been out. Either one of them, because I like Theo Johnson as an athlete better, but Bellinger is starting to do what Rob and I both saw a couple years ago, his rookie year. So, and Dart is thrown to both, and they're using both. So I think they're both viable, especially given the fact that all they have at wide receiver is a bologna sandwich, because Jalen Hyatt is not it. We've learned that. And drum roll, please. The number 1 5 guy for your eye this week is 5 guys for you to despise. 5 guys to despise. I should have changed that 4 to a 2, but it doesn't really matter because it's coming soon. It's coming soon. It's that time of the year. It's about the halfway point. And we're getting sick of some people, and I'm getting sick of some people. So if not next week, in the coming weeks, we're going to start to despise guys instead of putting our eyes on them. We're going to take our eyes off them. I sort of led into that last week with the Arizona running backs, but it's coming. The game book, the Thursday night matchup, the Vikings at the Chargers, trains going off the track. Both of these teams have lost 2 of their last 3 games. The Vikings' only win in the last 2 was against the hapless Bengals. I can't remember who the Chargers beat. Was it Miami? Let me look. But definitely they both lost 2 of their last 3. Let me just look real quick so I can verify this so I not sound like any more of an idiot than I actually am. It was Miami, and they barely beat them. The Chargers, before the past 3 games, were looking like one of the best teams in football. I thought their defense was the best defense. And then they got ran checked by Indiana Jones last week. That was a game that I was wrong on. I thought the Colts would be worse on the road. They're typically better at home, but the Colts have proved in that game to me, and probably hopefully to you, that they're for real. You can go on the road and play one of the better teams. I won't say the best anymore in the AFC, and really just slaughter them 38-24. That means something. And this game, I'm probably going to stick with the same sort of thread that I had with the Vikings Eagles. I think air attack is what this will be. Aaron Jones is probably coming back, so that's going to take a little bit off of Jordan Mason. Mason was still getting burned with Aaron Jones earlier in the season, so it'll go down, but they'll have to share, and that's not good for fantasy. And Vidal running against the Vikings, it's going to be tough. I mean, I just talked about how Saquon had trouble. So I think the Chargers look at that and say, hey, but there's a flip side. But the Chargers look and say, hey, the Eagles had success through the air. We've been getting pretty good through the air when we were winning and when we've been losing. We can stick with that. McConkey, Gadsden, Keenan Allen got back involved last week. Quentin Johnston's still there doing things. And for the Vikings, the same two dudes, and maybe they get TJ Stone for hands involved. But for this one, I would be staying away from the running backs. I'd be staying away from Mason. I'll be staying away from Aaron Jones, of course, and Kimani Vidal. I'm not playing him in this game. I'm looking for the ball to go in the air, and it's a Thursday game, and typically when you're looking for something like that, we don't get it. So there's probably just going to be a ton of field goals, but we'll see. Let's get to these live questions. I'm going to start all the way at the top. Josue wants to know, should I start May this weekend versus the Browns or stream a QB? Caleb is available. Well, here's the problem with Caleb, and I'm going to touch on this quite a bit when we do the Sunday show. Again, I haven't really started my analysis, but this thing is in the forefront of my mind. The Bears are going against the Ravens, and yes, they're not going to have Lamar, right? But they are getting healthier on defense. Roquan and two other guys at least are coming back. They've been banged up on defense. That's why their defense has been so bad. They've been injured, depleted. I think it's like 7 or 8 guys, and 3 of them are going to be coming back, 3 of the bigger ones. So it's going to be a little different. Caleb's going to be on the road as well. May versus the Browns. Browns look tough, but we got to remember too, who were the Browns playing against? What were the conditions last week? They weren't good. So yeah, although Tua just has been doing nothing, and I thought for a moment he'd be okay, but in the wet, in the rain, in the wind, in Cleveland, they didn't look good. And for this week, I just want to look because I don't even know. I'll be flat out. It's in New England. I think it'll be easier for him to throw on the Browns than have Ramondre. And Ramondre was right. I said it'd be the Patriots that did the game. So, I mean, I was kind of right, even though I said it's either going to be a Tennessee upset or Stevenson and Henderson would both have good games. Stevenson had a really good game. Henderson just is continual trash. So that one play he had in the preseason that made everybody fall in love with him, we're seeing that was that one play in the preseason. That's about it. To answer your question, for right now, I'd stick with May. If you have somebody to drop that you don't really care about, pick up Caleb. And let's see how we feel Sunday morning. Got offered Mason and Terry for Chase Brown. I could use a wide receiver, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it either. You know why? Because Aaron Jones has come back. What this person is doing is trying to sell still relatively high on Mason, and he's trying to sell you name value for Terry. He's still hurt, so he's worthless. And we just saw it. Chase Brown's he's just fine. And the Bengals this week, I think they were a decent matchup, if I'm not mistaken. Against the Jets. You can run all over the Jets. Yeah, I'm not doing that trade. No. Somebody's trying to G you. You got Gaston on waivers after your rookie draft. Yeah, that's good. He was a hold for about 6 weeks. And once I saw him get a couple snaps in week 5, actually, I was like, okay. Week 6, I was like, yes, he's a 5 guy for your eye. And then he blew up last week. Yeah, but it depends on what's out there. So now you got 2 guys on waivers that you want to pick up. Are you going to drop the Browns? I talked about this on the Saturday show. Not sure if you caught it or not, but I've said it before in the past. I usually don't like any of my offensive players playing against my defense. Sometimes I kind of have no choice. And most of the time, it really doesn't even matter. But it just kind of sucks. It's like, yeah, 6 points for a touchdown. I lost 3 points because of a touchdown. So it's like you get a 3-point touchdown. It kind of sometimes it really doesn't matter, but sometimes it seems like you're in quicksand. I would, but it depends on what's out there. And again, if you want to pick up Caleb Josue and you want to pick up another defense, you got to have 2 guys sitting around that you could do without and don't really care about. Chris, thank you so much. You're watching on YouTube. I love it. Like, subscribe, share. You probably have already. If you haven't, go for it. And who would I take? I'd take Manan guy. Marks, again, he's still great. Just their line and their play calling is terrible. And until that gets fixed, which might not be this season, I got to pick a guy who's trending up, and that's Kyle Manan guy. Addison or Dobbs? I can't see because you also have Pearsall. I actually kind of feel like Pearsall might play this week. I know Brock Purdy's probably not gonna, but I kind of feel like they might put Pearsall in because the Houston defense is still good. Unless the 49ers think that they could handle their offense on defense. But either way, Addison or Dobbs. I like Addison in the Thursday game. I mean, I was just saying it. And Dobbs going against the Steelers, I thought it was going to be more of a Golden and Kraft game. It was a Dobbs game for sure. I'm just waiting for one where it's not. I don't think that this week is going to be that week. However, I think I would go with Addison. I really do. And check back on Sunday morning. Oh, you can't because Addison plays Thursday. I think I would play Addison on Thursday. I like him. You're worried because you're 4-3 and 4th in your division. 4-3 is a pretty good spot to be. I think 2-5 right now is about win now. A lot of teams in my leagues are 5-2, 3-4 in that range. There's no real teams with a 1 win or 2 win. You're pretty much win now. 4-3 is okay. Don't freak out too much. Just make the right plays. Go with your gut. I like Addison over Dobbs. Go with your gut. I like Addison. Dell replacement was getting targeted, but man, Stroud has no time. Yeah, or you must have been talking about Jalen Noel. Exactly. Yep. He's a perfect spot for it. And yeah, he was throwing the ball to Stroud has no time. They got no offensive line. None. And the play calling, pay attention. I know that most people just watch a game, or if you watch Red Zone, which is I do. But last night they played on Monday night, so you could just watch every single play and just watch their play calling. Like if you have the NFL Sunday ticket, put the Texans on when they have the ball and watch their situational football. It's like they don't even think about anything creative that might do something good for them. They're just like, 3rd and 1, got to run up the middle. No, you can come up with something else because you have no line. Flank a guy out and put him as a screen 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage and let him get a running start in space. Anything. I'm not a coach. I really have no clue. But what they're doing, they don't look like they have a clue either. Drop Woody or Vidal for Gadsden. I don't think you need to. Yeah, I mean, they're tradable still. I would find, you could do that. You could do that. Both guys I don't think you need three tight ends. That's the problem. Would I rather have Gadsden on my team than somebody else's? Sure. Is Gadsden probably for the rest of the season going to be more valuable than those two? Probably. The Woody problem's the line. I don't want to keep beating that dead corpse. And Vidal Hampton will be back in a couple of weeks. And maybe he'll be a third down type of guy, but maybe not because Hampton can be all three downs. It depends. If you're going to pick up Gadsden and now you have three tight ends, maybe you look to trade one and get a better running back. That might be okay, or a better wide receiver, or just hold three tight ends. I don't know. If you have a flex and you want to play two of them, it's not terrible. I'd probably rather have Gadsden on my team than either of those two, but I think Woody has value. They just have to figure it out. What's up, 50 Matt, watching from Twitch? I like it. We've had a couple Twitch guys. We just started streaming on Twitch this year. This is our 9th season. And I say our. I'm not talking about my person as myself as if I am more than one person. But typically there's at least one other guy, if not two, that are on here with me. My buddy Rob, and one of the Answers by Guests family members, Marty, that helped us out this year because Rob has continuously been busy. So you're looking at, would you do Quentin Johnston or Judkins? I mean, I don't see a way, even against the Patriots, that I can take Judkins out of my lineup. He just looks the part. He gets it done. He's a lot smaller, I'll say, width than you would think he'd be the way he plays football. He plays like a big bruiser. But he's not necessarily. I'm playing Judkins. I'm playing a guy that's going to be on the field the majority of the time. I know Johnston will be as well, but there's two other guys, and now you got to worry about Gadsden as well. It could wind up being the wrong choice. If you go with Johnston, I hope you know this. I'm sure you do. You can't play him in the flex. You got to move him to wide receiver and move one of your wide receivers to the flex. Because he's a Thursday night guy. But I would go with Judkins. I think that's a relatively easy call for me. He's looked great since he's gotten on the field. He's pretty much what moves their offense. The matchup is tough against the Patriots, but let's not think the Patriots are what they were last week. We got to remember who they were playing. They were playing the Titans, and I know they've looked good, but they've also been in some back and forth games. And could Gabriel put it together for a game and get some of the guys involved? He hasn't yet. So I get your reservation. I'd go with Judkins. I would not go with Quentin Johnston on Thursday, although I do like the Thursday game to be an air game. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't. But go with your gut. Thanks for joining us. I don't know if you subscribe or whatever on Twitch, but we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we've been doing this for 9 years, and it would mean a lot if you did follow or subscribe or whatever they do over there on Twitch. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you win this week, and I hope you catch us every Tuesday night. We do a halftime adjustment show just like this, and then we do a show every Sunday morning where we talk about every single game in depth. And take your questions live on the air and some of the questions that are posted in the Facebook group. You could join the Facebook group as well. If you're on Facebook, it's Fantasy Football Answers by Guests. And like I said, we're on YouTube, same exact name, same exact tag. So without any other questions, quick show. We went over 2 hours on Saturday night. I had a really long day at work, so this works out very well. I wish you all very best of luck. I'm looking for an air game once again with the Vikings at the Chargers. Get your wide receivers in, except for you, 50 Matt. I would go with Judkins. Although, if you're still here watching, I'll wait another minute and see. Who are your other wide receivers? Do you start 2? Do you start 3? Because if we could slide him in at wide receiver over one of those, I might be inclined to do that. If not, then I think I would go with Judkins. But it's your call. You go with your gut. You go with what feels right on Thursday night. All right. Well, best of luck to everybody. I hope you get a win this week. I'll see you Sunday morning. And I don't know if it'll be Marty or if it'll be Rob or if it'll be me by myself again. But either way, I'll be here to help you. We'll talk about it. I hope you won this past week. Get your waiver wire guys that you need tonight. 6-bye teams next week.